This is part 9 of the Athol 644.5 Swivel Jaw, Swivel Base Vise Rebuild series. If you haven't seen part 8, click the link at the top of the screen. In this video, we will be painting the vise and then assembling the vise. Hello everyone, I'm Jeff and welcome to my shop. We got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. When I was researching the colors that were used by Athol for their vises, this dark green finish was the most accurate that I could find out there. And this could be replicated with a decent dark green hammered paint. And I spoke to the owner of the vise and he gave me the choice between going with green or gray. So ideally this would be the paint to get, but you can see the price on it and it's really hard to get a hold of. So we decided to go with this. This is not a hammered green, but it is a darker green. This is a paint from Krylon. It is 3440 Satin Hunter Green. And I chose satin over a gloss. So I bought several different shades of green, but trying to get that dark green is really difficult. So here we are with the spindle, and as I said in the previous video, that back side of the spindle that faces into the vise shouldn't get any paint on it, but we'll end up fixing that later. Here we are with the dynamic jaw, and we're going to paint the inside of it first. You can see how messy that gets. And that's the problem with spray paint. You really can't control the paint profile that's coming out the end of the can. And that's the dynamic jaw. Here we are with the swivel jaw. And the majority of the bottom side of it is masked off, so there's not a whole lot to paint there. Let me just paint the rest of it. If you didn't pick up on my paint technique when I was spraying the primer on all this stuff, I tend to spray a very heavy coat rather than several light coats. It's not it's not the best way to do it, but it's how I do it. So here we are with the base. We'll paint the bottom of that, and then we'll let that dry and cure for probably a day or two, and then we'll come back and paint the other side of it. And here we are with the main body. And really it's just that tongue part that sticks out the front that we need to paint. We can get some of the inside done while it's upside down. Then we can flip it and paint the rest of it. Remember that that entire bottom section there is masked off, so no big deal. So here we are after about 24 hours, and we're finishing the spindle nut and then the swivel base. Pretty simple. So this is about 10 hours after we painted most of that stuff, and I'm going to remove the masking from this stuff. I like to remove the masking while the paint is still in its curing phase, and that just ensures that I get some nice crisp lines where the masking is, as opposed to taking some of the paint with it. And this is the dynamic jaw. We're going to pull the masking off of it. And I said in the priming video that any of the metal to metal contact areas were what we masked, because none of that area should get any paint. Now the area I'm pulling the masking out of right now is exactly where I was talking about on the spindle, that it needs to engage and it should not have any paint on it. And that's the dynamic jaw. Here we are with the swivel jaw. Now all of these metal surfaces are going to get lubrication on them. One, so it'll assist them in moving, and two, to keep them from, well, to minimize the amount of rust that will develop on them. Here we are with the main body. And you should be able to see that that paint has gotten a little darker as it's cured, which is, pretty typical of spray paint. Usually shoots on in one shade and will either get darker or lighter as it cures. Just depends on the color. And I would have preferred this to be a little bit darker, but it's good enough, I think. I didn't want to go with the gray because there's so many vices out there that are gray. It's been done. And I was trying to get back to, as best as I could find, something as original as the original, if that made any sense whatsoever. So here we are with the swivel base. And then we've got the spindle nut. Alright, so now I'm going to come back and I'm going to paint over all of that embossed lettering. This is a silver metallic enamel pen. The other way to do this would be to just get some sandpaper on a really flat piece of wood or something and just scuff off the paint that's on the end. But I like using the paint pens. I think they look better. And if it ever, chips or gets scratched off, you can always come back and repaint it. So here we are with assembly. We're going to go ahead and spray some super slick stuff on all these parts. You can see up there I've got a replacement Cotter pen in the top left corner there. We'll be using it rather than the original. Alright, so the base. So we'll be using Super Lube to lube this vise. I use this stuff all the time on most of the stuff that I rebuild, so I totally believe in this lubricant. It's a synthetic and it goes on clear. So we've got the lock and we're just going to lubricate it. Then we'll stick it inside, move it into position, and here we have the main body, And we'll lubricate the bottom of it and some of those bores. And then we'll drop it on top of the base. Then we can lube up the inside threads of the handle for the lock and then install it. Then we'll flip the vise over, and then we're going to install that base screw. It doesn't have to be super tight. Remember, we've got a set screw that comes in from the side that's going to lock it in place. So as long as the vise can swivel, we're good. Like so. So now we'll install that set screw. Like so. Then we're going to lube up more of the main body. So these are the beds or ways or whatever you want to call them that are inside the body that the dynamic jaw slides on. Then we've got the spindle nut, and we're just going to lube the inside threads. Insert it. Remember that angled section faces towards the back. Then we've got the locking pin for the spindle nut. And we'll drop that in there and then seat it. We'll just put some lube on the swivel jaw area and insert the key for the swivel jaw. Then we've got the swivel jaw itself. Lube it up. And then install it. And we've got the taper locking pin for the swivel jaw. We'll install it. Kind of really happy with how that turned out. Here we are with the dynamic jaw. We'll apply some lube to it. Get that spindle area. And then we don't need to worry about the rails because the inside of the main body has already been lubed. So here I'm just removing that paint on the spindle where I was talking about it should not have gotten any paint. And I just used some sandpaper. I think that's 60 grit and then 100 grit. And then we'll apply some lube to it. Insert it. And then we're going to install one washer, the spring, and then the second washer. Use that PVC pipe to compress it all. Then install the cotter pin Yeah, that's kind of a unique process to get that cotter pin to the tails on it to spread like they need to. If it's too long, you really can't turn it. So no big deal though. We got it all figured out. So now we can install the dynamic jaw into the vise. And then we can install the handle. And that is the vise assembled. So here are the finished pics of the vise. I think it turned out pretty good. Like I said, I would have preferred a little bit darker green, but not bad. And I think we kept most of the originality of this vise, you know, its character. I really enjoyed working on this project, and I hope the owner of the vise is happy with it, because I'm happy with it. So the next series I'm going to be working on is rebuilding this 103.22540 Craftsman 6x48 belt and disc sander on a pedestal base. This should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And that's going to wrap up this video and this series. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you got any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below. As always, I appreciate the support, and I will see you next time.